Hi everyone, we are here at East Brunswick High School for another EBTV presentation of high school sports. It is wrestling tonight. It is senior night here at East Brunswick. I'm Bob Cancro along with Stu Kohn, and we first bring in Eric Brown, his mom Jeanette Rodriguez,
Rachel Daddio, and parents Ralph and Susan.
Manager Rachel Daddio. You may have heard our PA announcer Powell Sachs and his mom and dad, her mom and dad Ralph and Susan.
Ryan Morosi and parents Mike and Sharon.
And Ryan Morosi, who has been a part of wrestling for a while here at East Brunswick, and his brother wrestled here as well, mom and dad Mike and Sharon. They're being greeted by the coaching staff.
Matthew Arabello with parents Nunzio and Diane.
So Matt's younger brother David there.
Richard Yuri with parents Richard and Patrice. Andrew Scatoni and parents Angelo and Cheryl.
Angelo and Cheryl Scatoni with senior Andrew.
Stacy Schwenk with family friend Russ Shirley. Matthew Scrivenage, mom Laura.
In the upper weights, Matt Scrivenage, his mom Laura.
John Segretto with mom Kathy and sister Nicole.
And the last of our seniors, John Segretto, his mom Kathy and his sister Nicole coming out, and those are the seniors for this year's East Brunswick Bears.
And those are the shoes that will need to be filled for next year. The East Brunswick losing Eric Brown, Ryan Morosi, Matt Parabella, Richard Pieri, Andrew Scatoni, Matt Chivinich, and John Segretto, as well as Stacy Schwenk. And he didn't get to comment on the varsity jacket, coach, as they're walking out. See if we can catch Ralph Daddio, 136. Just can't quite make the year.
Yeah, it still fits him, though.
See if we can catch him.
You have to check that one out. That's pretty cool. I mean, my varsity jacket still fits me. A little snug, but it does fit me.
Well, mine's got 158 on, and that's not going to happen again. So we'll be back with tonight's action for Stu Kohn. For Bob Cancro, I'm Stu Kohn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another EBTV presentation of high school sports. Tonight, it's wrestling from East Brunswick High School as the Bears host the South River Rams. I'm Bob Cancro along with Stu Kohn. Stu, we're here for what is the Battle of Old Bridge Turnpike, but it's not quite what it used to be.
It's lost some impact. I remember the days in the 80s and even into the 90s, and I should go back and start in the 70s, where there was standing room only, pack in the gym, and a true war for bragging rights at McDonald's on Route 18, and like you said, the Battle of the Old Bridge Turnpike. And there actually, at one time, I don't know if it's still in existence, there was a plaque that went back and forth to the winning team. And the last couple of years, it just hasn't been the same event as it was in years past.
Bobby Young's squad comes in here just 2-12. He just lost recently to South Brunswick pretty badly. East Brunswick won their match against South Brunswick. On paper, it looks like a bit of a mismatch.
It might be. I don't go on the line too much with predictions. Right now, South River's in a rebuilding stage. They're young. You know, they're dealing with a small school. You know, if you get every boy out for wrestling in the school, sometimes you still don't have the numbers where you'd have in a bigger school like East Brunswick. So it's uphill. It's uphill for South River. And you never know. We've seen it before, but some of these small schools can rebuild and hold their own, but it's all uphill for them.
From the county tournament recently completed, the big winner for South River was third-place finisher Mike Palumbi.
Mike is only freshman. He took third at 112, and he is a bright spot in the lineup. And South River does have a few guns throughout the lineup. Their lower middle weight classes are strong, and they are sending some good middle school kids up. So they have Bobby, a quality coach, and give him some time, he'll turn it around.
Well, we will be right back with all the action tonight from East Brunswick High School. Back at East Brunswick High School for tonight's matchup between the Bears and the South River Rams. Bob Cancro along with Stu Kohn with bringing you all the action. We are here coming up for the introductions of the two teams and our PA announcer, Powell Sachs. Stu, should be an interesting contest tonight.
Well, I think East Brunswick might just be a little too overpowerful for South River, and East Brunswick's a little bit on the upswing, and South River's in a little bit of a rebuilding mode. But, you know, South River has a share of wrestlers, and they'll be competitive in several matches.
Well, there's a long tradition at South River of tough, hard-nosed wrestling, and that's what we're going to see tonight. Back to the lineups, 140 pounds, Joe Zukowski for the Rams and Garrett Kohn, a freshman.
We know that guy.
We know that guy. For the Bears at 145 pounds. The Rams have scheduled up Jose Lopez and Matt Shirley, the sophomore for the Bears. So right off the bat, two younger wrestlers for East Brunswick.
At 152 for South River, either Doug Grasso or
Dixion Rincon or Doug Grasso will be the one of the two wrestlers at 152 for the Bears, and Greg Kruger, another sophomore for East Brunswick.
At 160 for South River, either Doug Grasso or Dixion Rincon.
Same two wrestlers coming out for the Rams. And Andrew Scatoni for East Brunswick. Up at 170 pounds, Sebastian Perez is the scheduled wrestler. John Segreto.
At 189 for South River.
Segreto was senior. George Chincolo, a Ram at 189. And either Eric Brown or Julian Quinton will be out there for the Bears. Eric Brown introduced earlier as one of the seniors on senior night. 215 again, the two East Brunswick wrestlers, Julian Quinton or Eric Brown, and Aldo Deloe, the 215-pounder for the Rams.
At 285 for East Brunswick is
Rich Piori, the senior for the Bears, and there is no competitor for South River. We swing down now to the lightweights at 103. Mike Duhigg is in there for the Bears, and there's a forfeit there for the Rams. So that's at least 12 points that East Brunswick has coming in. Irvin Gonzalez is the Ram 112-pounder, and Mark Weber for the Bears, the junior, at 7-10 on the season.
Do we know why Matt Gervinich is out of the lineup?
I don't know. I was thinking about the same thing because he is a senior but not wrestling tonight. Mike Palumba,
and he was also out for the this was a South Brunswick match. We'll have to look into that.
And Mike Nicolaro also wrestling at 119 for the Bears. Matt Parabella, the senior, at 125 pounds against Mike Zukowski for the Rams at 130.
At 130 for South River,
Roland Nolan is the Ram wrestler. And Phil Morrell or Ryan Levinsky will be in there for the Bears. And finishing up tonight at 135 pounds, Mike Henry for the Rams. And freshman Mike O'Kane. Jim McCauley is our referee, and we're going to go out to the middle where he is mic'd, and we'll hear what's going on.
Captain.
captains and the coaches go out to the center. Stu, I'm not crazy about the coaches going out. I don't see why they have to do that. I know it's a sportsmanship thing, but
Yeah, you said it, and I agree.
East Brunswick, you'll be green. South River, you'll be red. Red, your choice. Even bouts. Good luck, fellas.
Which means East Brunswick will put the man on the mat first in the odd bouts, and 140 is our start weight. So I never thought I would be in this this seat with my son on the mat. They're just not so soon. He's just, as you know, he's been back 6 days and making an appearance tonight for the first time.
well, Garrett was out for a while. Garrett Kohn, the freshman, no record. First time on the mat as a varsity wrestler here at 140 pounds. He is going up against the senior Joe Zukowski. Garrett coming back was delayed because of medical issues, let's put it that way. And his first day of eligibility, and this is how he starts it. As Zukowski gets in on a leg, countered by Kohn and out of bounds, and there's a takedown, 2-0 lead for Joe Zukowski. They come back and a restart.
I think I'm with you, but I'm watching, Coach.
You can be a parent right now if you'd like.
Set.
Goes to the stand-up, and he cuts him loose. Zukowski looked pretty good on that initial leg shot, and he may feel very comfortable on his feet. And there he tries it again. As you can see, the bout score 2-1. Counter.
Neutral.
Still neutral, no control. He has not brought him down and controlled him on the mat. And there is the takedown.
I'm sure our official Jim McCauley's a little uncomfortable as well, not expecting his first bout to be with his ref partner's son.
Well, one of my first matches as an official on the varsity level, or when I got my card as an official, was my brother. He's a few years younger than me, and he was wrestling JV, and I got the assignment, and
Well, I think as long as Garrett's going to be wrestling the next couple of years, he's going to have a little mark on his back, a little target. So he's going to have to get used to it sooner or later. And it's good that he's back getting a little taste of varsity wrestling and see what it's all about. And hopefully it'll motivate him as he's getting turned right here.
Zukowski with a half in there, and Garrett fights it off, breaks it back. No score, no points on that. Working on that far side cradle a little bit. Got to flatten
make
out.
himself long here.
You can use this as a teaching tape when you get home and watch the
replay. I'm doing pretty good right now.
Right now you're okay.
I'm not feeling a thing out there. I'm not feeling that cradle.
He's got to kick it out. Got that in pretty tight. And at 149.
Well, you saw what it's like, and at least we got that out of the way, and I can come back to joining you now.
Okay.
But that'll pay dividends to Garrett down the road. I've said it before with our 3 rookie Mikes in the lineup, and they'll take some beatings, but they're going to be giving them out, and Garrett knows what it's all about now. He got a little taste, and give him something to work for.
Well, it's funny because, we sit here and we coached, we wrestled and we coached, and you kind of sit back and you're watching it and you're not taking it personally right now. But it is a very personal thing. You're one-on-one. And I was actually talking to a parent of one of the South Brunswick wrestlers last week, and he said, I can't believe my son does this because you're an adolescent and you're putting yourself out there all by yourself with the risk of having to count the lights on any night. That's a really big step. So, yeah, Garrett took a big step tonight, and like you said, it's out of the way. We have Jose Lopez for the Rams now and Matt Shirley. Lopez is a junior with a 3-5 record.
Well, if it makes everybody feel a little better, and even Garrett, that's exactly what his dad did his first match out there. And I think he might have made it a little bit longer than I did.
Well,
okay, so on the mat now, also back after a little absence with a hand fracture, is Matt Shirley. He's a sophomore, and he's taking on Jose Lopez, a 3-5 first-year wrestler, a junior from South River, and Shirley in on a leg.
he's got to take him to the mat. He's going to try to keep him inside. Nice trip. Still no control.
Looks close. You have to have him there beyond reaction time. Good hold by our official.
Yeah, because he was on the mat. Now he's got the 2.
Now. Good hold, good call. Shirley on top, 2-0 with the 2-point takedown. Takedown is 2 points. For those that are not overly familiar with wrestling, when you go out of bounds, you're going to get a fresh start in the middle in the same position you went out in. Start in referee's position. Shirley will be on top. He can start from the right or left side of the wrestler. There is a protocol in getting set. The top man has to come belly first, then elbow. Referee will say set, and then blow the whistle.
Set.
And
Almost on cue.
Perfectly done. Two very tall, long wrestlers out there. Matt Shirley brings Lopez back down to the mat. He's working that one arm.
Neutral, one red.
And we are at 2-1 with about 40 seconds to go here in the first period at 140 pounds.
With 30 seconds to go in the first.
Now
Both wrestlers in a head-to-head tie.
The picture you're seeing right now, we have a ground level camera, which is really terrific. I love the new addition. So our production staff still coming up with great new ideas and a different angle to look at here. They are neutral still.
Well, Shirley has to prevent Lopez from coming around and controlling the hip or getting under the arms. He's got the leg in. That's referred to as a Merkle roll or a crazy leg.
5 seconds here.
If Lopez would come over the arm, just runs out of time. But if he had come over, he could score a takedown in that position.
Lopez will have the choice here in the second period, and he defers.
Green takes defense. You're up, Red. You're up, Red.
And as is often the case, taking the down position as they have the choice. Second period here at 145 pounds.
Back off, Red. Got caution, Red. Belly.
Caution issued when there's movement once they're supposed to be set.
Set.
Get 2 cautions before points are awarded.
Shirley's got to do here is try to explode up and out. If he would come to his feet and break away from Lopez, he would pick up a 1 point. That'd be considered an escape.
Ooh. It's clear, and Lopez working the upper body, as is very common with South River wrestlers, and we have an escape, and Matt Shirley takes a 3-1 lead here in the second period. The Rams, as we mentioned in the opening, are coached by Bobby Young, a former South River wrestler himself. He is in his 7th year at South River. He's a special ed teacher there.
No, he's actually a special ed teacher in Freehold, so he commutes over to South River, just for the wrestling purpose, coaching.
Mea culpa.
I'm sure one day he would like to get in-house, and Lopez just ran out of real estate. The offensive wrestler scoring the points must keep his feet in bounds to be awarded any points. Matt is the younger brother of his brother also wrestled for East Brunswick last year, and his dad, Russ, is instrumental in keeping the East Brunswick High School Wrestling website up.
It's amazing how much stuff is now on the internet that you can get a hold of with different teams and the programs that they have, records, videos.
Shirley in on a signal, a near leg. He needs to get off his knees.
Yeah, he's got to post that and try to come around and cut the corner there, but stepping over the leg.
He can pop his head out and
nothing yet.
Bring Lopez back down. He's got to watch his own head. Now he's got to get back to make a table. He's in South River is known for their headlocks. He's got to push away. He's got to push Lopez forward.
He's going to get a takedown there, right there.
And stuck with it, Matt did a nice job just following it through. He didn't get nervous. He stuck with it. Managed to pop his head out.
Well,
now he's got to stay tight to the body. He's got to watch the locking hands.
I thought he had it there.
Close.
Thought he had locked hands. Lopez is a first-year wrestler, and if you're a first-year wrestler and you're in South River, you do learn the head and arm as your first move, and Lopez has tried it a couple of times. Choice is going to go over to Jose Lopez here in the third period. Matt Shirley with a 5-1 lead, as you can see on the screen.
I don't know who started it, when it started, but I can tell you how far I can go back with wrestling, maybe to the early 70s, and I can tell you South River always had the head and arm.
They always worked that upper body, taking the head, circling the arm, and bringing it down. That 5-point move from their feet. Notorious.
We get a look at Matt Pazinko, head coach of the East Brunswick Bears, giving some instructions to Matt Shirley as we get a break in the action. The South River wrestler is being worked on. He's using an inhaler. You have 90 seconds throughout a match. That's cumulative for injury. And I do like this new angle you were talking about.
Oh, this is great.
We really get a feel for what goes on there. A little huddle. Bobby's joined by his brother Joey, a fellow ESU alumni of mine. Not quite the same year, but same school. And
That's East Stroudsburg University for those who are not.
Yeah, the third period. South River will have choice. Their wrestler down by 4. He's going to elect bottom. Shirley needs to be smart here. Needs to stay offensive, stay aggressive, try to break Lopez down, get him flat.
Yeah.
He's got a tight waist. The offensive wrestler, his hand has to go on the belly button. Any more than that would be considered an advantage, and you'd be cautioned. 3 cautions leads to a penalty point.
Lopez quick to his feet, and he's going to get that 1.
Neutral, we're neutral.
So Shirley up by 3.
And he may turn that into a 3-point move there as he gets a
Shirley
takedown.
up by 1. With a minute 42 to go, he's Shirley hanging on to a 5-4 lead.
Lopez showed his strength upper body, and Matt Shirley there just a little careless the way he sat through there.
Matt's got to do here is put 2 moves together.
Yeah.
He's got to, think ahead, and there's a full Nelson. So Matt benefiting that by the technical violation. He'll pick up 1 point. Full Nelson's illegal hold. Sign for an illegal hold. You see the official put 2 hands behind his own head.
Stay in the middle, guys. What's that? Did you get the neutral?
See if we can go live to our officials, Mike.
6-4? 6-4.
Yeah. Some confusion about the score.
Yeah, but they got 6-4. Both of them got 6-4.
And I have 6-4 as well.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're coaching, you just so fixed on what you're watching, you're not matching the score, and I think Bobby just needs a little straightening out there. And get some clarification. He went right to the full Nelson again. That's another point. Now, if he would do it again, it'd be a 2-point violation, or any other penalty now would now be 2 points. Stalling, and fleeing the mat, locked hands. Anything he would do would be a 2-point penalty now.
He's going to give Matt Shirley the 1 point, put him on his feet. And I think we're going to see that head and arm work pretty well here.
How quickly our 5-4 match just gapped a little. Shirley picking up 3 unanswered points. Lopez doing the work. Shirley getting the points as Lopez picks up 2. He's got to watch that full Nelson again. He's coming close.
8-6 is the score. He was very aggressive, got it on the legs.
Well, it seems like Lopez is taking him down, so that's it. Let him go, take him down. Strategy works for both teams. It's a smart move by South River. Coach telling him, let him go. You're locking hands. You're getting yourself in trouble on the mat. Let's wrestle this match on our feet.
9-6. Jose Lopez has been pretty good on his feet. He's gotten 2 takedowns here in the third period already, but he's also given up 2 points on violations on illegal holds with the full Nelson. And Matt Shirley, like you keep saying, Stu, has to maintain some aggression here. He's got a 3-point lead, but he can't be backing up, and he can't let that happen either as he gets him in a good sprawl. And
nice
then
job. Nice job by Matt. Picks up a 2-point takedown with the spin around. He snapped and spinned around. He's
keep
on
the
top
arm
now.
there. As
Shirley's
they go
still
out.
in control. Defensive wrestler needs to break his hips away to get the escape. Shirley did a nice job holding on with the tight waist around the body. Tight waist or locked hands is legal on your feet. You can only lock hands in a pinning combination on the mat. Whenever I have an opportunity to help clarify a situation, I like to throw that in there. Shirley's locking hands, but they're on their feet, so he's okay. But he only has 5 seconds to bring him down to the mat, or he'll get warned for stalling. And there it is. On cue, Jim McCauley, nice job.
He's got to make an attempt to bring him down.
Correct.
Doesn't have to get him down, but as long as he's making an attempt to trip or picking the leg up. 12 seconds to go here, a 5-point lead for Matt Shirley. So, barring a very unexpected end, he could have given him a caution there, but Lopez up. He holds back on that point. Didn't really break free. 5 seconds
holds on
here.
that leg. He's got to get off of that leg, or he'll be warned for stalling again. He just ran out of time, or it was coming.
Matt Shirley, the sophomore, picking up his 4th win of the season over Jose Lopez. Matt Shirley the win, and the Bears pick up their first team points.
Well, I'm sure Matt's glad to be back in the lineup.
Yeah.
You know, he missed some time and came back in style with a win there. That brings us up to 152. East Brunswick will send Greg Kruger to the mat, and we'll have to wait and see who South River sends.
It's either going to be Dixon Rincon or Doug Grasso. There was a flip there.
What's his name?
And that is Doug Grasso.
Well, I do gotta be thankful, along with you. The South River names are pretty understandable tonight. We've been here a couple times and get more letters in the alphabet than I want to deal with. I think we're okay up till we get to Giovanni at 171. I'm gonna let you set cadence with that one,
You got
but we can put that off a couple bouts.
Doug Grasso was a senior for the Rams. He's got a 3-14 record, and Greg Kruger comes in at 7-10, a sophomore for the Bears. Another one of the relatively young wrestlers for East Brunswick, and that does hold well for them in the future because they're getting a lot of young kids a lot of time on the mat this season.
Kruger quickly spins around for a 2-point takedown. I'll tell you, the last couple bouts, you know, if you're looking for an improved wrestler, I got to tell you, I've been impressed with Greg. The last couple bouts we've seen him, he's really been turning the corner. And he's already just within this season, the experience that you could see has paid off for him being out on the mat. He's, you know, been much better positioning on top. His, mechanics and technique has been much improved the last couple outings.
You know, it's funny you say that, Stu, because I was actually thinking it's all well and good that kids get experience as freshmen or sophomores, but it's got to be constructive experience. They've got to get something from that, understand what they've done right or wrong, and then improve on it. So you hear a kid like Greg Kruger, who's on the mat, only a 7-10 record, but as you're saying, he's making progress.
Well, we saw that in the South Brunswick mat. I mean, that might have been one of the longest bouts of the season.
Forever.
You know, and Greg came out on top. You know, stamina and technique got him through. Every time he looked like he got himself in an precarious situation in that match, somehow he ended up on top.
Oh, well, they're going to call him for a stalling right now with riding. He's done a pretty good job breaking him down, but he hasn't moved up. He hasn't come out to the side to try to turn him. He's just been.
Well, that's what the
riding.
official's looking for. He's looking for the offensive wrestler to work to the side. He'll give you you know, I can almost tell you how Jim McCauley works. I've worked with him so many times. He's going to give you a few seconds, you know, behind, try to put your tilt in, work your legs, but then he wants you out to the side. You know, the experienced referees will call stalling when they identify it. No ifs, buts, ands.
He's got a half in, chopped in the far side. Coming up a little bit high on that. And there's no points. As he drove him over, he just overextended a little bit, never dropped back and got his chest in there to drive him. Choice is Kruger's with a 2-0 lead. And Greg takes the defense. 6-3 lead for the Rams and the team score. Greg Kruger
Got caution red. Belly button.
with a 2-0 lead here at 152 pounds. It probably means that Dixon Rincon will be going at 160. A little loose on that ride, and there again, pulling the head down at South River. Greg has to pop his head out, get up to his knees.
2 green.
And the reversal as they went out of bounds. And Greg Kruger with a 4-0 lead here as they come back for a restart in the center.
Say set. Okay, green. Set.
Kruger working the tight waist. On the near side, they come to the feet. He's got to bring him back down.
He does.
Got to release the locked hands when you come to the mat. You get a little reaction time, and you have to release the lock.
Greg was letting that go before he hit the mat, which is often, as long as you've got control coming down, it's a good thing
Greg's
to do.
got to watch the full Nelson there. He's got. We've seen more full Nelsons already tonight, one bout, than we usually do in a dual meet, and we're only in our third contest. So Kruger has to come out to the side. Our official giving him some free advice.
Jim may stop this if there's no because his taping is coming loose on that, and that ace bandage is flopping around.
I think Jim's going to let it go as long as he can until it just gets out of hand. You don't want to stop the match any more times than you really humanly have to.
Puts the cradle in, rocks him back. He's going to get back points here. A lot of time left here in the second period.
He's got 3 in the bank. If he can get that knee in the side, get the shoulders down, he'll pick up a fall. As he does, nice job by Greg Kruger.
3 minutes and 24 seconds.
Greg Kruger answering the call. As we say, he's been improving. There it is.
Second pin of the night, first one for the Bears.
We don't want to talk about that first pin. Let's get past that, Coach.
First pin for the Bears, period. End of discussion. And we will go to 160 pounds. Greg Kruger with a nice job, put that cradle in, rocked him back, under control.
I think I did pretty well. It's a tougher situation than you think sitting here with the headset on, your son on the mat, but I think we handled it okay. On the mat now for East Brunswick is Andrew Chitoni, and for the Rams, we're going to have to get clarification.
It is Dixon Rincon for the Rams.
Dixon Rincon, okay. Okay.
Scatone, the senior.
We're in the neutral position. All matches start on our feet. The wrestling center of the mat, there's a red and green stripe that you can kind of see with our camera. Each wrestler starts on the single of the mat. Starts on the line that matches their team color. East Brunswick is home in green. The home team is usually green. Some situations is the referee will allow the home team to be red. If their singlets are all red or there's a good reason or some sort. Other than that, the green team is home. Chitone in on the leg. He's got to watch the slam. Just got to bring your opponent down to the mat, hips first.
He really didn't have control coming down, but fortunately it was slow enough that Rincon was actually able to control. He was able to control himself coming down. He's got to move up or they're...
Well, since it's a takedown situation, he wouldn't get one for stalling.
Right.
Well, he could, but he needs to work up to get the 2-point takedown. If you bring your man to the mat from neutral, it's a 2-point, two-point score.
The East Brunswick bench got up a little bit because when Rincon put pressure down on the head, came down pretty hard, almost a shot to the head.
Well, our official gave both wrestlers an opportunity to improve their position. Neither man did, so it's stopped, and it's called a stalemate. So we get a fresh start from neutral.
Jim McCauley did talk to Dixon Rincon. He may have said something about that and hand to the head.
So just reviewing our scoring quickly, a 2-point takedown is awarded, bringing your man to the mat and establishing control from the mat. If you make your way to your feet, that's a 1-point escape. If you expose your opponent's shoulders to the back for less than 5 seconds, it's a 2-point near fall. If you expose your opponent's shoulders to the mat for 5 seconds or longer, it's a 3-point near fall. Get back to that when we have an opportunity. We're at 0-0 after 1. The choice position is alternated from bout to bout. South River having choice in this bout. They're going to take bottom, looking to score by either coming up to your feet or a reversal, which would be 2 points.
No score in that first period. Dixon Rincon coming up quickly off of his feet, off the bottom position. And now Scatone has to move up.
Keep that wrestling in. Keep the wrestling in.
Now, Stu, that was not fleeing the mat. That was not trying to...
If you make an obvious exit off the mat, you can get called for a technical violation as known as fleeing the mat. If you want to avoid action, the referee didn't feel it was blatant enough to warrant in that situation. I'm gonna agree with him. Usually don't tell you when I disagree, but I'll tell you when I agree.
No, I didn't think so either, Stu, but he was pulling himself away, but that's really just kind of moving out to try to free himself up from Scatone's
As
control.
An official, we do go to meetings and classes, and that actually is one of the things that has been stressed to us this year is to call fleeing the mat more. the association feels it's been overlooked, and they're making a greater attempt to increase the number of times the official makes that call. We're close to a reversal situation, and we're gonna get it as we go out of bounds.
Well, Kohn on that move was a little bit careless, pushing down up top, but released the bottom, and Kohn was able to come around and come out and get a hold of Andrew Cohn's legs. And with 1:02 here in the second period to go, it's a 2-0 lead for South River.
Dixon Rincon. Rincon is 4-9 on the season. He's a junior. Now he's probably given up a few pounds to Andrew Scittoni. Scittoni weighed in at 160.
Quick reversal and to the lock position.
As Scittoni picks up a fall, 2-point reversal right to his back, and picks up 16 points for East Brunswick. So out of nowhere, as fast as I can pronounce his name, he gets a pin for the Bears.
Well, from that careless move where he gave up the reversal at the beginning of that, just a few seconds ago, coming back in, coming around, and suddenly locked in the pin. And suddenly the Bears have a 15-6 team score lead as they go to 171 pounds. Wow, that was quick.
Neutral too?
He did the last time. We have John Segreto here now for the Bears, I believe. Okay, John Segreto, the senior. And it should be Sebastian Perez for the Rams.
First-year wrestler, freshman.
Just a freshman, right.
Well, John has been running into some big guns, and now it's his opportunity to be a big gun. Seems like everywhere we go, John seems to run into that big stud in the lineup, as we've seen on our broadcast the last couple times. So good opportunity for John here to come out on top. He's got to earn it. Looking for a half now on the near side.
Got to get across all the way, jump across. He's got the
got to try to tee off, make himself heavy. He's got Sebastian Perez in trouble for a fall in 52 seconds. Our winner, John Segreto.
Third consecutive pin for the Bears.
And he's a senior, and this is his last home televised EBTV opportunity, so he's going out in style. And we wish all our seniors the best of success, and we hope they can all come out on top tonight with a fall in 52 seconds.
Or less.
Yeah, we'll take it.
We go to 189 pounds. George Chetinkolo.
I had the opportunity about a week ago in Monroe. I was officiating, had a 8-second pin. I mean, I just keep score. I didn't have to do anything, but I hit the mat in 8 seconds, and that was Sam, probably pronounced it wrong, Ambrosiak. You probably got the spelling from the
Ambrugio.
Ambrugio. 8-second fall he had.
You know, I mentioned earlier that one of my earliest matches was to officiate my brother's match, and he turned the kid over so quickly. And I said, how do I hit the mat this fast with my brother? He probably had a 10-second hold down there on the mat before I finally slapped the mat, because you feel.
Just wanted to be sure.
I want to make sure. I didn't want to give my brother any undue advantage.
So South River is young throughout this lineup. And they feature a sophomore with 2 wins, Gio Trenkincolo. Both wrestlers just looking for an opening. Quentin looking for a cradle. Picks up 2 points. And if you can recap, how did Quentin make out in the county tournament? I know he placed.
Julian Quentin, the Bears did not have a great tournament, but they certainly did have a few guys do pretty well. Julian Quentin. Just have to check my notes too. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I caught you off guard.
You caught me off guard.
Should have warned you first. And Julian working a bar. He's going to pick up some back points. He's got 24 seconds to work for the fall. Reverses the half. He's got to arch his back, get off his knees, make himself heavy.
3 green.
Picks up 3 back points.
And that's pretty much with a 5-0 lead how the first period will come to a close. Quentin, and I should have known better, took 3rd place, beating Jeff Goldhagen from South Brunswick
Both ways.
in the consolation round
Who had beat him, I believe, earlier in the
believe so.
season.
Defer.
just last week.
Defer to green. Green takes defense.
Julian lost to the eventual champion
Red.
at 189 pounds in the GMC tournament, Mike Wagner from South Plainfield.
I think maybe I'm giving you some bad information. I don't see
Set.
on Quentin's history a match with South Brunswick. Maybe I am mixing him up. And
1 green.
oh, there it is. Okay, he did lose 9-2 in a dual meet, so he avenged the loss in the county tournament. It's always nice when you come back and beat somebody that's beat you early in the season. That's a very satisfying feeling for a wrestler.
Two green.
Quentin making that look easy.
Top.
Right now, an 8-0 lead. That's a major decision, Stu. The scoring on team points, anything 7 points or less, has your margin of victory is worth 3 for the team. Between 8 and 14, it's
A major decision, 14 points.
And then a 15 or more, that's a tech fall.
And they would stop it at that point. So I get a break in the action. Maybe we could pick up. We have some trivia questions for you tonight.
That's right.
We can go to our first question.
Maybe between periods here. Okay.
Quentin on top.
Come on, green. Got to use it,
Got to
green.
come out to the side. He'll be one for stall and see if we can get our question for tonight.
Neutral. 1 red.
And what is the first tiebreaker criteria in dual meet? If a dual meet should end in a tie, hypothetically 32-32, 29-29, what would be the first criteria to break the tie?
You did bring the rule book tonight, didn't you? So you're just throwing
I am
everything
on
out.
top of my game tonight. We'll give you a little time to think about that at home, and we'll be back with the answer shortly.
Quick pop under for Quentin, and he gets the takedown, and he extends his lead to 10-1 with 20 seconds to go here in the second period at 189 pounds. He's got the one-on-one on the left side.
Come on, green.
Needs to put some pressure down that head and break him down.
Red.
Choice here will be Chettinkolos for South River.
Red takes neutral.
Well, that to me is an odd situation. He's been taken down 3 times and he chose to go on his feet. But he may be looking for the head and arm.
Well, we talked about that earlier. You know, at this point, he's going to have to catch him. That might be his best position to catch him from.
1 red.
But he's just in over his head tonight with Quentin. Quentin's just got too much strength, experience, and
He got a quick takedown, and then he went to neutral.
just giving a little bit of a wrestling lesson out here tonight.
And this could end up being a tech fall at this point. He's got a 12-point lead.
And then, you know, at some point the referee will not call stalling when it, you know, it just feels you're overpowering your opponent.
Right.
You know, it's a fine line to cross, but you know, a referee experienced. You know, he's not out to see anybody get embarrassed. He knows the situation. He's kind of working with the wrestlers a little bit, and you know, it's smart officiating on his part. All too often, you know, we blame the ref. It's always the ref's fault. So it's nice to see both coaches, you know, knowing
Red, don't clam.
knowing what they got on the mat and letting McCauley keep things under control out here in his way.
Jim McCauley just told George Chettinkolos not to clam up, and they're going to call a stalemate, and that's just to break things up and get started again.
Right.
Not that somebody couldn't.
Little professional courtesy, we'll call it.
Well, there are those coaches who feel that you're not only wrestling the other team, but you're wrestling against the official too. Now, I don't necessarily take that position.
I think you're the one that told me that about 30 years ago.
Well,
You got to
no,
go out there and beat two people.
I was simply quoting somebody I worked with at the time.
I actually do remember hearing that from you like it was yesterday. It was quite some time ago, but I do remember it. You got to beat two people out there. Your opponent and the official.
Well, yeah, I personally think that officiating has come a long way. Seriously, that there's a lot more training, there's a lot more consciousness to be consistent, and I think the associations do a better job of training officials and monitoring their actions.
Yeah, well, clearly, our official can call Stone as much as he wants here, and he's just, keeping it respectful and doing the right thing with 9 seconds to go. The major's not going to change. He's not going to pick up a tech fall. So, in my mind, he's doing the right thing.
Julian Quinton at 189 pounds with a 14-2
good official
major decision.
We'll look into it a little bit. You can't overly look into it, but a good official has eyes behind his head and has the feel for what to do right and wrong and knows when to adjust to the situation, and we'll word it that way. And it's Eric Brown going to take the mat now for the Bears.
He is a senior with a 9-6 record.
And South River has no answer for him. They're going to forfeit here, and Brown's going to pick up 16 points.
Now they're going to move Aldo Delowe up to heavyweight.
Well, I think that's probably a wiser move for them. So a little strategy by South River, figuring, hey, let's take our shot, against Rich Pieri. Maybe he'll have a better shot than Eric Brown. So let's see if strategy pays off for South River.
Aldo Delowe,
Shake hands.
a junior at 8-5, and he is only a second-year wrestler for the Rams against Rich Pieri, a senior. And about a head shorter than Delowe.
Pushing Pieri back. Pieri circles in, wrestles his way back in. Cannot just walk off the mat. You back up. You'd be warned for stalling. And it's 50-50 time. I see the bucket coming this way.
You get your ticket?
You got to be in it to win it, so can't retire tonight.
Stay in there, Green.
Head-to-head tie-up.
David Parabella on the 50-50 pull. If you win, remember to take care of your 50-50 puller. Right, David? Got you in for 10%.
Two red. We're out.
Aldo scoring first. Aldi, how you pronounce that there, Coach? Help me out.
Delowe.
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 Delowe. Hyphenate that. Delowe.
Stu, at the GMCs, the finals, and I can't remember which bout it was, but there was a situation where the two wrestlers were, just as you have here, a short guy, and shorter, stocky, and long and lanky, and potentially
One hand
dangerous.
behind the back, behind the neck, potentially dangerous.
And talking with Lou Lazari, who was my partner at the GMC finals that were broadcast. And he was, his attitude was, in those situations, short and stocky and strong against long, lanky, with the leverage always wins out. So far, that's proven true here.
I always had my troubles with the leverage guys.
Okay, as we are just under a minute to go here in the first period at heavyweight, we had that trivia question, Stu, earlier, which was, what is the first tiebreaker criteria in a dual meet match tie? And for those of you who went to your rule book, the answer is the team whose opposing wrestler team has been penalized the greater number of times. Number of team points for flagrant or unsportsmanlike conduct. Do you want to explain that, Stu?
Well, if everything ends in a tie, the team who has been least penalized, unsportsmanlike, done something less than professional on the mat, you're going to cost your team the dual meet.
So the sportsmanship issue is important.
Exactly. It's stressing sportsmanship. And that's what high school sports are supposed to be all about, is good sportsmanship. And we're back in action.
Rich Pieri had a reversal, and then the escape again by Delowe.
two kids relatively even in ability here, and it's a good opportunity to see them each, get varsity experience, wrestling somebody at their own caliber, and it's nice to see. Aldo DeLoe picks up 2. He increases his lead to 5-2 as we go into the second period.
Takes defense. The other way, Green.
Peoria will have choice. He takes defense.
I think they made a mistake on the choice, but we got a good.
If they made a mistake on choice, they would switch it in the third period.
Yeah.
That is the antidote from that if somebody picks it up.
Yeah, if they get to the third period.
Correct. They wouldn't consider that bad time. Bad time is wrestling. Mat time that was wrestled incorrectly. In a bad time situation, they would go back, undo the clock, adjust the score, and re-wrestle. The wrestler's taking the wrong position second, third period would just be corrected by switching in the third.
Right.
And South River wrestler is on top. He needs to come out to the side. We've seen Jim McCauley warn the offensive wrestler for stalling, riding parallel earlier on. Greg Kruger at 152. So we're in that same situation. Aldo DeLoe needs to come out to the side now.
Well, we talked about leverage, there have been a couple of situations here where he was just able to kind of pull Rich Peoria along.
Peoria comes up to his feet, picks up 1-point escape.
Little sloppy by DeLoe. He was coming out like that and leaving the opening for Rich Peoria to come up. And there's that head and arm.
And he caught him.
Just under a minute to go here in the second period.
Well, Peoria needs to try to make himself parallel to DeLoe. Or hip into him and take him over, but he's in an all-carrier situation there. He needs to get to his belly and break away.
As tight as that head and arm is, it's really not done very well by DeLoe. It's kind of sloppy.
Now, there's some space for Peoria to get out of there.
Yeah.
Peoria needs to get tight to DeLoe. DeLoe has to keep that arm encircled. You lose the arm, it would become a headlock, and that'd be an illegal hold. And now it is somewhat illegal because the arm is out now. Got it in there now.
Good fight by Rich Peoria.
Lost that arm for about a second. Referee can't be two places at one time. He's looking for the fall, and DeLoe did a nice job of fixing it back up. It is amazing how much you have to see out there as an official that you don't realize until you're out there how much is going on. And
I mean, in that situation right there, you're watching the pin, you're watching to make sure that Peoria could still breathe, you're watching to make sure there wasn't a headlock. You're also looking at the bottom of the feet.
At the same time being somewhat conscious of how much time is left.
All right.
There's a lot going on.
For all those folks who criticize officials, and we've both done it, and I've done it in two sports, ain't so easy.
No. It's very subjective. Nowhere to hide out there. No corners. Crawl in. Escape.
We're out.
10-3 is the score. Aldo DeLoe for the Rams with the lead here at heavyweight. Tonight's bout started at 140 pounds. So we'll, after this one, be going back down to the 103-pounders, the little guys, and working our way back up through 135. 1 minute to go here in the third period.
Well, South River gets strong in the lower weights. They feature a freshman at 112 who had a real nice county tournament, Mike Palumba. Came in third place in the GMCs at 112. He's the bright spot in the South River lineup. He's what they're building around down below.
DeLoe chose neutral and has not been able to capitalize as he probably wanted to. I mean, he had a chance with that the head and arm in the second period and took Peoria to the mat and to his back. And Rich Peoria was able to fight that off. It's right now a 7-point margin, so it's a regular decision with just 10 seconds to go here in regulation.
So Peoria kept it a decision. you know, the old adage is, you know, win big, lose small, and he helped the team by not giving up the major, kept it within range, filled in admirably.
Did well.
For Skirvovich, who's out of the lineup. And Ridge can walk away with his chin held up high. He has nothing to be ashamed of. Fought off his back, like you said. Didn't give up.
No, I mean, again, you don't know what it's like until you're there. But when you're in that headlock, that head and arm, and you're being put on the mat, you're not breathing well. You're uncomfortable. It's tight. So Rich Pure did well there. Mike Duhigg is the 103-pounder, and the Bears will win this one by forfeit. That was Mike Duhigg, and so they extend their lead to 37-9.
No one's come forward for our 50-50 yet. Maybe that means you're going to have to split a coach.
Well, you know, you have to do
what they do, right?
You have to do what you have to do.
And Mark Weber is taking the mat for East Brunswick, and he's going to take on. No, he's not going to take on Mike Palumba. So Mike Palumba obviously moving up. We'll have to get a name.
This should be Irvin Gonzalez, I believe, for the.
I think by process elimination, we're going to have to go with that. And somebody from South River claiming the prize. It's one way East Brunswick doesn't get it back in the pool, huh? You let the visiting team win. Get a better shot at that when the green and white wins. I'm going to have to remind him, though. Don't forget Dave Parabella. Come on. Pull that ticket.
Irvin Gonzalez is a senior for the Rams. He's at 14-6.
Take care of the little kid. Come on.
Gonzalez took a first in the East Brunswick tournament, and
so the strategy being employed here might be, you know, by South River, see how Palumba does against Nicolera, move him up, maybe try to get him a more competitive match. You know, who knows what's playing in the minds of the South River coaching staff. But
You all right, Chris?
Duhigg picks up the forfeit at 3, and Gonzalez moving up to 12 to take on Mark Weber, and we're at zeros here. 1 minute into the first period. Weber touches and goes. He's in on a single. Nice job setting that up. He's got to finish.
Try to trip it now. He's got no control there.
Need to capture both legs. Just ran out of real estate.
They go out of bounds with 53 seconds to go here in the first. Gonzalez took a third place in the East Brunswick tournament back in December around the holidays.
A minute 30 into the first period. We wrestle 3 2-minute periods. Unless there's a fall would stop all action, and 16 points would be awarded.
We've seen that a couple of times tonight. 3 times by the Bears as they won 3 consecutive matches by fall.
Our team score in the top right-hand corner where it says meet score, EB 37, South River 9. Our bout score is still at zeros. We're locked. No points have been awarded yet in this bout. 4 seconds to go. Weber's got to stay out front. He does. He manages to avoid the takedown.
Red, top bottom, and you defer. Red takes defense.
South River Lex bottom. Weber's going to start on top. Weber good with the legs. Look for Weber to put in legs.
Set, okay.
Try to work off the leg series.
Set.
And he does put in the legs on the near side.
He's got the leg in, trying to work a power half.
Now he can scissor in that situation, right, Stu?
You can scissor, you cannot figure for the body. The only time you could figure for is the head in a pinning combination. Weber on top, leg in on the near side, trying to lift the cross ankle on the far side.
Yep.
As Gonzalez reaches back for the head.
And Mark reacted pretty.
Well, that actually would have helped Mark. If he had that arm around the head, he could take that back himself into the guillotine.
So he reacted a little bit, almost too much to
almost
that.
Instinctively, yeah.
Yeah, he just let go and wanted to defend.
young wrestlers are going to make young mistakes. And, we started to talk about earlier, talk about the 3 freshmen, well, 4 tonight in the East Brunswick lineup, but South River, if we look up and down the lineup, 1, 2, 3 freshmen, and a number of, sophomores and juniors. So most of the South River team will be back. East Brunswick will have some bigger shoes to fill. They're going to lose, Eric Brown, Matt Parabella, Ryan Morosi, who had a real nice county tournament, who's out of the lineup tonight. But we don't want to forget about Ryan. He had a good Middlesex County tournament. He placed. He was one of 3 wrestlers to actually make it back for Saturday's rounds. If you come back Saturday, you're guaranteed the top 8 finishes.
And that was a caution by Weber as he started to pull his hand off the elbow a little too soon.
What Weber wants to do here is ride him out the last 29 seconds, so he'll have choice in the 3rd period. The score tied 0-0. So look for Weber to try to get him flat, try to work the legs back in. He's got a tight waist now. Wants to try to get him flat. Wants to try to flatten him out.
Again,
Weber, one of the better leg riders on the team. He needs to really...
Had the leg in with the cross face, got 1 count, but doesn't
want to give it up here. He's going to hold on to that neck, around that neck for dear life with 7 seconds to go.
5.
If he pops that head, he'll pick up a 2-point reversal, and that has given Mark trouble all seasons, giving up points at the end of periods. That's been Mark's nemesis call. I've seen Mark do the work for 1 minute 55 seconds of a period and give up the 1 or 2 that last 5 seconds. That's been Mark's issue.
That's pretty much what he did there. He was riding the legs. He did get warned once for stalling, but he had ridden them pretty well. He had that almost a cross body in there, and then the cross face with the leg in, and then it slipped loose and allowed Gonzalez to come out and almost gave it up. And if he had gotten the neutral there, I wouldn't have been surprised, actually. It was close enough, almost.
Well, you do all the work. You ride for the whole period. Giving up points at the end not only affects you score-wise, but it limits your opportunity with time on the clock to get the points back.
That's a psychological blow, too, when you give up points like that at the end. But we are here in the 3rd period with no score at 112 pounds. Mark Weber from East Brunswick in the defensive position on the bottom, and he is...
Come on out, Red.
being controlled by Gonzalez. Just got the warning from Jimmy McCauley to come outside. He was riding parallel.
Well, he's just giving him not a warning. He just gave him some free advice.
When I said warning, I heard myself say that
you
too.
You gave me the opportunity to bring up a key point. When the offensive wrestler is warned or penalized for stalling, the match is stopped. When the defensive wrestler is warned or penalized, the match should continue. So you actually segued me in perfectly. So I'm kind of glad the wording you did choose. And Weber's got 45 seconds. He's got to try to work up to his feet. He took some time off the clock, but now he's got to get busy. He's got some time to work with. He needs to make himself explosive, and see if he does it inbounds. He's awarded 1.
Well, I was just
tough call. It was right on the line.
Yeah.
You need to break yourself away from your opponent inbounds.
And face him, though, too, or not? Has that changed to some extent?
You have to create some space. In the middle of the mat, you're supposed to face him. On the edge, the referee will give you a little bit of leeway. What Weber's trying to do here is just eat that clock up a little bit. Doesn't want to give anything up. He's happy winning. Oh, good hold by our official. And with 8 seconds to go, almost on cue, Weber gives up a takedown, and he's going to just run out of time. He's going to lose this 2-1. So again, Mark Weber controls this bout for over 5 minutes and 40 seconds, but 2 points at the end, and no time to come back and score and tie it up.
He almost gave up the reversal at the end of the 2nd period. As you said, Stu, 1 minute and 50 some odd seconds, you're controlling it, and then you give it up at the end. And the same thing happened here with just 8 seconds to go in the bout, where he gave up the takedown after getting the escape on the edge.
Well, so often we see that. We say it over and over again on these broadcasts, the best defense is to stay offensive.
That's it.
Mark got a little too comfortable trying to cling onto that leg, for dear life. And, if he had been a little more aggressive and better position, he might have been able to hold on to that 1-0 lead. But I'm sure it's frustrating for Mark, and it pays dividends as Nicolares gives up 2. We're at 119.
This is Mike Palumba, the third-place finisher for the Rams in the county tournament.
Well, when your team's 2-12 and you're down 37-12, South River's just trying to get the best matchups for the wrestlers. They can't really gain as a team, so they're trying to gain as individuals and get their better wrestlers some better matchups.
But just the last time when we were here and the wins in the individual matchups against South Brunswick, that was in preparation for seeding for the counties. Now we're looking for seedings for the district tournament, and these two teams will meet again in District 20.
Well, coming up next at 125 is very interesting. I was talking to Bobby Young before the match, and we talked about 125 and the A versus B and the B versus C's, but Matt Parabella could pretty much secure himself a second seed in all likelihood with a win tonight. He beat Caprero from South Brunswick. Matt lost 8-6, a real close match early in the season to Brian Oglesby from West Windsor South, who probably is going to garnish the top seed. And the question now is, if Matt wins tonight, should pick up second seed, who the third seed would be. And a key common opponent is going to be Caprero. And we'll see, how the score goes. So a good strategy for Matt tonight, to win big, lock himself in the second seed.
And we have Mike Nicolera for the Bears out there right now at 119 pounds. He's just a freshman with a 9-10 record, and to go almost 500 as a freshman is not a bad thing.
He's been doing better and better each bout. Every time Mike takes the match, he's just been improving. The experience Mike is picking up now will really, really show next season.
He was 1-1 in the county tournament.
We saw Mike against South Brunswick with a solid win, a convincing win over Fran White, which really shows you how much Mike's come around. White's an experienced wrestler. He's been wrestling varsity for South Brunswick for 2 years, and Mike took it to him. Wrestled smart and beat him, and that was a key win for Mike.
Green, top, bottom, mutual defer.
Mike defers his choice. That means he'll opt to have choice in the third period.
Bears with a big lead on the team score. Just 2-0 lead here for Mike Palumba, who was, as we've said, probably the top wrestler for the Rams.
And only a freshman. It's one of those years you just don't have that name in the South River lineup. It seems for years, there was a Fodor or a Young, or for the last couple of years we had Mangeli, and looks like this the next bright spot for South River. You'll be hearing about this kid for a while now, Mike Palumba, and he's followed up by Michael Zakowski, who's also tough in his own right. Mike Zakowski in 11 wins as a freshman. So back-to-back, they're probably workout partners, the two Mikes in South River, Palumba and Zakowski. And they probably breed off each other. It's you see that so often in lineups where two kids are strong and they're in back-to-back weight classes, from practicing together.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned some of those names that South River has always had in the lineup. I mean, last year with Adam Mangeli, a Region 5 champion, he's gone.
4-time district champion.
William Fodor, up in the upper weights, and the Fodor name has been around forever, seemingly forever at South River.
Well, with Palumba in on a double, switches off to a single. We're probably going to get a stalemate here. The referee will give it a few seconds. Nothing comes of it. We'll get a fresh start. Referee trying to give Palumba an opportunity to cut the corner and opportunity for Nicolera to spin around. We have another interesting trivia question for you. We'll let Pete get set in the truck and we'll pop that up on the screen. We are ready. I like this trivia question
This
too.
is a good one.
Which team?
Well, hang on for a second. We got a situation on the mat as
I'm glad you called me as Palumba picks up 2 and 2. as we're walking back to the middle, I'll get it in quick. Which teams whose uniforms are not green and white has won the county tournament twice in the last 15 years?
County tournament, the GMC tournament has only been going for 25 years, and there haven't been that many teams that have actually won the championship, but I like this one. You came up with this one, right?
I had a little help.
Okay.
But give you some time to think about that at home as Palumba's working a arm lever, cross body in the near side and cuts back to the right. He's working the far wrist.
That arm lever, there's a lot of pressure in that shoulder, and that's referee's going to be careful about how far that's comes up.
So what we see Palumba doing, he's switching off. He's going from combination to combination, looking for Mike to look for an opening, and Mike, was being smart, not giving him anything to work with.
Nicolera takes the neutral position. He's down 7-0 here in the third period. So the question, again, that trivia question, which team whose uniforms are not green and white has won the county tournament twice in the last 15 years?
Now, East Brunswick, obviously, is green and white, and they're obviously one of the teams that have won the tournament in the last 15 years.
And this year,
I want to say 2003. Okay.
Actually, every 10 years. They won it in 93 and they won it in 2003. So in 3 more years, East Brunswick is due to win the county tournament.
Go.
If not sooner.
I'm sure with some of our freshmen in the lineup, they'll be happy to know that.
Nice aggression on Palumba's part, and picked up that knee as he drove Nicolera.
What an interesting irony that would be. I mean, I can give you another irony as Mike Nicolera's on the mat and we're in a head-to-head tie. But back some time ago, I was Matt Pazinko's high school wrestling coach, and now Matt Pazinko is Garrett's high school coach. So,
wow.
At the time, I never thought I would be a high school wrestling coach, nor did I think Matt would be. So it's kind of ironic that now, let's see how many years later, I guess close to 30.
Good grief.
Matt is coaching Garrett.
And at what point did I coach you?
Oh, God, I'm going to make you get out the walker if you keep talking like that.
Things do come full circle sometimes.
Those were the days. It's changed a lot since then.
We're at 119 pounds here at the East Brunswick South River matchup. Mike Palumba of the Rams with a 7-0 lead over Mike Nicolero. 119 pounds. And
I don't know if these two have ever wrestled before. Both of these guys have made their way in the ranks through the recreation level. Both these guys are freshmen, but nobody said they lacked mat time. Both these guys have been on the mat for many years. Nicolera doing a nice job. He got in trouble there and almost scored. Palumba picks up 2 at the end of that combination, but good heads-up wrestling. Good. They were both wrestling 2 and 3 moves ahead. Now, Palumba needs to work up. Can't stay locked on the ankle. Because Palumba's got some good energy out there. He just goes from combination to combination.
He's very steady, not big flurries. He's just a very steady movement. He's going to get back points here and the count, and it's going to be an 11-0 win for Mike Palumba of South River.
One of the better, one of the best freshmen in Middlesex County. I mean, if you go to, South Plainfield, obviously there's a dominance, as we've all been reading about and hearing about this year, of freshmen on the varsity for South Plainfield. But, take South Plainfield out of the equation. That might be one of the best freshmen in Middlesex County right there, and Mike Palumba.
That's going to bring out Matt Parabello for the Bears. And before this match gets underway, I have a hint. I've got a hint, a tip for that trivia question we just had. If you're thinking about which team won the county tournament twice in the last 15 years, it does not have a green and white uniform. Look at your screen very carefully.
That's a clue.
That's a clue. That's a clue.
I was going to say our officials in black and white, but they don't even wear white shirts anymore.
No.
They're gray now with a thin black pinstripe, and that was changed to make the referee blend in a little bit more. They felt the white shirt stands out, and they want to. The focus isn't about the referee; it's about the wrestlers. And the better referees learn real quickly. Nobody cares who they are until they make a mistake.
Well, if you want to go back and talk about uniforms and how you stand out, when I first started wrestling, which is somewhere around the turn of the century, well, the first turn of the century.
Parabell in on a 2-point takedown.
Matt Parabell with a takedown, right. You go back to the 1960s, wrestling referees wore white shirts and white pants.
I'm going to have to look through some of your old family photo albums.
They looked what, and I wrestled with those guys on the mat. They looked like butchers.
Parabell on top of the tight waist. Now, Matt very well, these two wrestlers are very well see each other again in the districts. So the best strategy for Matt here is to come at him hard, set the cadence.
Now here is another freshman, Mike Zakowski for the Rams. Only a freshman, but with an 11-8 record. So he's somebody who again is going to build the foundation for Bobby Young and that team.
Stay set, red, green. Set.
Okay.
Okay, green.
Okay.
Set.
And we're here in the first period, just 30 seconds to go with Matt Parabell on top. Now, if you're watching this replay of the South River East Brunswick match and you want to catch it again, there are 2 more airings of this, 2 more broadcasts on EBTV on February 10th at 9 p.m. and also on February 21st at 3 p.m. This match will be rebroadcast on EBTV Channel 3.
Matt trying to hook an ankle on the near side.
And the first period is going to come to a close with Matt Parabell up 2-0. Do you think it's time to give him the answer to that trivia question, Stu?
All right, see what we got.
Okay.
And it was 2 years in a row, I will add in there.
The team whose uniforms are not green and white and won the county tournament twice in the last 15 years, the South River Rams.
And that's a small Group 1 school. To think about that accomplishment, it's overwhelming.
They were
quite impressive.
They were led by Tommy Noto, who was a 2-time state champion, and whose father I went to high school with. You talk about these small worlds.
And I believe that was the Ed Chicky days, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it was. Ed Chicky was the head coach at South River at that point.
Parabell on top, 3-0. Now, we talked to Matt earlier in the season, and one of his goals was to win that district tournament, and that is just getting closer and closer as Matt's in on a single, picks up 2, increases his lead to 5-0, and this is one of the wrestlers that will be in Matt's path, so certainly Matt wants to have a dominant performance tonight.
Zakowski trying to put that whizzer in there as they came to their feet.
Well, Matt has shown us his strongest positions on his feet, done well from the neutral position.
Up 5-0 here with 1:10 to go in the second period, 125 pounds.
When we were here last, not last, I would think it was our New Egypt match that scored 12 takedowns in one bout.
New Egypt, again, it's another Group 1 school, but they are in the state tournament next week.
I think that was the first time I realized our bout score doesn't have a 2 as the front digit when Matt got into the 20s. But every one of those takedowns, you're giving up, you're trading escape. So there's an awful lot of times, you got to take your man down to pick up the tech fall. Parabell working an armbar, needs to come out to the side as he does on cue. Now sitting towards the head, he's going to pick up some back points. Matt needs to slip in that half, try to make himself heavy, arches back, try to get his weight over the chest, try to sag back. Matt's got 15 seconds to work with here in the second period. He picks up a fall.
3 minutes and 47 seconds. That is the 4th pin for the Bears. He won that New Egypt 24-8 was the final in that New Egypt match. Holy cow.
Now taking the mat for East Brunswick, Ryan Levitsky, one of 3 East Brunswick place winners. Ryan was the only, I have a trivia question, but I'm going to give you the answer as I say it. Ryan was the only wrestler in the GMC tournament to knock off a top seed in the quarterfinals. And defeated Bell from Highland Park.
Shake hands.
And ended up placing in the top 4 in that tournament. A nice feat for a sophomore. Levitsky has great hips. The strength behind him is those hips. Real good balance. Seems he can get himself in some crazy funk and just pop his way out of it with those hips. The middle of this lineup comes back for the Bears next year. We'll get a look at Mike Kohn coming up next, only a freshman. Levinsky, a sophomore. Phil Morrell, who didn't wrestle tonight, also an underclassman, as
Levinsky gets the takedown and then lets him go.
1 for 2.
Neutral.
Levinsky has a nice barrel, nice dump from his feet.
Well, Levinsky with a 15-3 record on the season.
Neutral.
Roland Nolan on the mat for South River.
Nolan is 4-3 again. It's only a sophomore, so 2 sophomores out here at 130 pounds.
Levitsky coming at him hard. It's frustrating. Nolan's not quite sure how to counter Levitsky, who's just taking it to him with 3 takedowns here in the first minute and a half of action.
Neutral.
And the escape, as we're going to go back and forth.
Levitsky not settling for 3. He's going to pick up a 4th takedown. That just shows you how Levitsky has good mat sense.
Red.
Most wrestlers with 6-7 seconds left on the clock, they're going to be content. They're just going to
Green takes defense.
wrestle off the period. Levitsky staying hungry, staying aggressive. Knows he could pick up 2 points in 6 seconds, and he does.
He is strong.
It's all about believing in yourself and digging deep.
Strong up top, aggressive in this matchup. 5-point lead here and going into the second period as he takes the defense. This is his first time on the bottom. Try the Granby.
You know, every time I see Ryan wrestle, I'm more and more impressed. Just those hips, he just steps over like that and picks up 2. Well, he didn't pick it up yet, but now he's going to pick it up as he cradles Nolan to his back.
And
he picks up the fall right on the
5th pin at 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
Certainly we're not anywhere near the amount of tape time we took up our last match. We're going to head into our last bout. We started at 140, so we end at 135, and it's another freshman on the mat for East Brunswick, Mike Kohn.
Just under 500 at 9-10, and he's going to go up against Mike Henry for the Rams, a junior.
Well, Mike has earned those 9 wins. He has not had it easy. He's run into some tough competition. And to have 9 wins at this point in the season as a freshman, he's been wrestling upperclassmen. He's got a lot to be proud of.
Well, he had a 1-1 GMC tournament, a pin in the first matchup, and then losing in the second round. But nothing to be ashamed of as just a freshman and having a chance to wrestle at the county level against some very good competition. And he's gets in on the leg, on the knee. He's got to bring him down, finish it off. Gets a Navy, but not quite.
Well, Mike Henry's a junior. Got 7 wins. He's another one of those guys that's been around for a long time, wrestling in South River. He came up through the rec ranks as Kohn, taking Henry right to his back. Going to pick up some back points in addition to the 2-point takedown.
They're on the circle, going out.
Picks up 3. Brings it to 5-0. Kohn on top in position, on top in score.
Once Henry's shoulders cleared the circle, there were no further counts and no opportunity to pin. Mike would have to bring him back inside.
Set. No. Green. How am I set, okay?
And a caution.
Green. Set. Keep it there. Keep it there.
Got to be careful with that knee, and it's going to be a break on a potentially dangerous.
So we're at 49-16 in our team score. I think that is the most points we have seen East Brunswick score, at least on our EBTV telecast for quite some time.
Yeah, they racked up a bunch, and they had 5 pins tonight, so there's 30 points right there and a couple of forfeits. The Rams lost to South Brunswick just earlier this week, 48-11, and that was around the score. And you know, it's what we got to pretty much hear now against them. And the Bears are pretty much even up with South Brunswick last week when they wrestled them. So I think Bobby Young probably saw a similar score coming in here.
Well, Bobby Young, you know, trying to get his better wrestlers some good matchups, getting them prepared for the district tournament. You know, knows, you know, as a team, you know, they're in over their heads, you know, with East Brunswick and some of the bigger schools on their schedule. But he's doing what he can to get his better wrestlers groomed, you know, get them ready for the upcoming districts.
Well, I mean, the fact they wrestled South Brunswick, which is a district opponent, and a better school in the GMC, just what you're saying, wrestling against a tougher competition, giving them an opportunity. So,
well, South River doesn't hide from anybody.
No,
they're not afraid to go against the big schools.
Neutral, 1 green.
And, you know, it's that kind of attitude that breeds success.
I think we said in the opening, South River always has had tough, hard-nosed kids ready to go at you no matter what the situation was, no matter what the prediction might have been. They were ready to fight and give you the battle right to the end. And nobody has laid down for the Rams this go-round. Even from his knees, the head and arm by Mike Henry. Michael Kohn, good control, heavy on the hips. Just a little over a minute to go here at 135 pounds. Last bout of the night. And they go out and they'll have a restart.
Yeah, right, Red?
With Michael Kohn on top in position and in the score. 1:01 to go here. Second period, 135 pounds.
You're down, Green. Okay, Green. Set. Red.
And a caution on Mike Henry as he just jumped the whistle a little bit.
Set.
Kohn on top. Route to the side with a bar. Far wrist, trying to walk towards the head, scoops the head. Now is a situation you see a legal figure 4. You can figure 4 the head.
Stretch out a little bit, flatten him out.
Arch your back, Mike. And the fall.
3 minutes, 32 seconds of the second period. That is pin number 6 on the night for the Bears.
Well, East Brunswick improving with every contest.
Great job, Table.
So for 2 sequences, the Bears had 3 pins in a row.
Very nice job, ladies.
Greg Kruger, Andrew Scatoni, John Segreto, 3 in a row, and then it was Ryan Levinsky Matt Parabello and Mike O'Kane with pins. Final score, the Bears 55, the Rams 16. Stu, we go into the districts. The Bears should have a few good shots here and should have an opportunity to do a little bit of damage in District 20.
Well, they have a few wrestlers with an opportunity to advance to the regionals. As a whole, as a team, you know, there's some guns in there. You have Old Bridge, Sayreville, Monroe has some bright spots.
Very much so.
But East Brunswick has their share of wrestlers looking, you know, down the lineup that have a good opportunity to advance to the regionals. Now is about, you know, gut check time, reaching down, seeing what you're made of, and taking it to the next level. Every wrestler puts on the Wrestling Seekers the same way. Everyone has the opportunity to advance, and that's what separates, you know, the guys that really want it, really are hungry for it to advance to the regionals. But a number of wrestlers have an opportunity to advance.
Very true. And Stu, I want to congratulate you on being as calm as you were as you watched your son wrestle in his first varsity match tonight. And Garrett went out there at 140 pounds, and not only his first match, the first match of the night. And that had to be a little bit rough for him.
You
But
know,
he did.
I guarantee you he'll remember that match for a long, long time. I mean, to this day, I can tell you my first varsity match with the same results as Garrett, and hopefully, you know, he'll learn from that, and it'll pay dividends for him down the road.
Okay, 6 pins for the Bears tonight as they rack up a 55-16 win over the South River Rams. For Stu Kohn, I'm Bob Cancro. Thanks for watching.